Okay, let's start our presentation.
Good day, classmates and sir. Today, I will going to discuss about the similarities and differences of Rizal and Morga's views on Filipino culture. This is Christy Carino, the first reporter of the group. As we all know, Rizal and Antonio de Morga are both writer and publisher. Og naapod sila sa tagsa nga book nga gi-written, gi-publish na nag-based or related sa views on Filipino culture. Similarities and differences between Rizal and Morga's views on Filipino culture that we'll discuss later. Next slide. Who was Antonio de Morga? So, kinsa man gyud si Dr. Antonio de Morga. He is a lawyer, lieutenant of the Governor General of the Philippines, second only to the Governor General and judge of the Audiencia with highest tribunal justice in Manila. Morga, the historian, achieved a comprehensive and balanced report and was even critical of his fellow colonists at times, the missionaries in particular. The present book is one of only 25 copies of the 1609 original printed in Mexico. So, kani si Dr. Antonio de Morga, isa siya ka lawyer, lieutenant sa Governor General of the Philippines, Audiencia with highest tribunal justice in Manila, writer, publisher, ug naapod siya present book nga naay 25 copies of the 1609 original printed in Mexico. To be clear, para ma-recognize nato unsa man gyud ang reason behind the similarities and differences of Rizal and Morga's views on Filipino culture, I will first review the book of Rizal on related of views on Filipino culture, while in the book of Antonio de Morga, that is related on views of Filipino culture. So si Rizal, naa siya book nga gitawag nato nga No Limit Tangere, wherein naapod kana nga book diha pud gisuwat ang views sa Filipino culture, related ra pud ana siya na book. This is the message of No Limit Tangere. This is to expose the ills of Philippine society during the Spanish colonial era, to promote nationalism and to accept change in ourselves that still applies to us today, that we should reflect on our actions and beliefs for our country. While in the book of Dr. Antonio de Morga, which is Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas, is a book written and published by Antonio de Morga, considered one of the most important works of the early history of the Spanish colonization of the Philippines. The book also includes Filipino customs, traditions, manners, and religion during the Spanish conquest. So, to give further discussion and to clear the information, the next reporter will going to discuss about it. So I'm done with my part. I will give now the mic to Mr. Jomari Surbano.
Thank you so much, Ms. Christy Carino. So, I am Jomari Surbano. What is Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas? So, in order for us to know why Rizal was really interested, and he annotated this book. Let's first define what is the content of this book. So to the point nga naman interesado mangga si Rizal sa nga libruha, and to the point nga isa gipang correct to dito, isa to gitagaan sin insights, gipang correct ang mga views ni Dr. Morga. So Successos de las Islas Filipinas. So this is the cover of the book, and this is Dr. Morga. So the title literally means events in the Philippine Islands, and thus the book's primary goal is a documentation of events during the Spanish colonial period of the Philippines as observed by the author himself. So the English translation of Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas is events in the Philippine Islands, so mga panghitabo sa our country during the Spanish colonization as observed by the author himself, which is Dr. Morga. So the book also includes Filipino customs, traditions, manners, and religion during the Spanish conquest. So the content are Filipino customs, our traditions, our mga beliefs, our paniniwala, and everything, manners, our behavior as a Filipino, and what we worship, our religion during the Spanish conquest, before and after. Then, Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas is composed of 8 chapters. The first is on Magellan's and Legazpi Seminole expeditions. The second to 7 is a chronological report on the government administration under several governor-generals in the final. Yes, so the Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas is composed of 8 chapters. The first is on Magellan's and Legazpi Seminole expedition. So there are 8 chapters. So the first one is the exploration of Magellan and Legazpi, the importance on it of their expedition, and the second to 7 chapters is a chronological pagkasunod-sunod, the way na gihandle sa government, the way na gihandle sa mga governor generals ang Philippines, and the final 8. So the final 8 provides a general account of the Philippine Islands. So meaning diri na ta na fall ang mga observation ni Dr. Morga, or custom, traditions. So the natives there, their antiquity, customs, and the government. So both in the time of their paganism after the conquest by the Spaniards. So meaning naka-observe na ni si Dr. Morga sa unsay aton, like for example say the paganism before, so our ancestor worship the nature or the object, di ba, and after naka-observe gihapon na ni si Dr. Morga sa colonization, mga panghitabo during the colonization of the Spaniards there. Yes, and the book is based on Morga's personal experience and the documentary research in the many years. So grabe ni, he was really keen on observing. That's why he wrote it on his book. Grabe ni sa mga naobserbaran na to the end na to the intensity nga isa nagipang suwat na dito based na sa personal views, is a personal observation is during kay nagkuan gud sa pila kay years diri. So nag-study sila about sa aton mga nilihukan as a Filipino, or everything about us, everything about this country. And so for instance, so Morga interviewed survivor Legazpi's expedition in Manila. So he even interviewed mga nakaligtas sa tong Legazpi's expedition in Manila. Grabe ang isa effort sa grabe ang isa effort and energy nang gihatag sa Niza para lamang maka-come up sila sa nga libro. So that's it. So in general conclusion, so Successos de las Islas Filipinas is the events in the Philippine Islands wrote by Dr. Morga. So that's it. I will now give you to Mr. Godoy. Hello?
So, good afternoon. I am Martyr Miss Gudo Jr. and I'm going to discuss what was Dr. Morga's main purpose for writing the book. So, what is Morga's main purpose for writing the book? In his words, Morga's main purpose for writing the book is to commemorate the achievements of our fellow Spaniards in these days in their discovery, conquest, and conversion of the Philippine Islands and the varied adventures they had have they have had at the same time in the greatest hidden kingdoms surrounding these islands. So the book written by Morga, its purpose is to acknowledge what the Spaniards have done, and that book also served as documentation of events during the Spanish colonial period in the Philippines. So that's all. I'll give you to the next reporter.
Okay. Okay, so thank you, Hermes. So I am Iris Jane Isales, and I will be going to discuss what are the major goals of Rizal and writing the annotation. So there are three important goals for Rizal's annotation. So first, please go. So first is to awaken the unconsciousness of the Filipinos of their glorious ways of the past. So mao ni siyang first goal ni Rizal sa iya pag-annotate sa libro ni Morga aron pukawon ug mahimatngon ang mga Filipino sa kung unsa kaanindot ang ato ways and culture sa mga niaging panahon, which is sad to say it had been erased from the Filipinos' memory. So gusto ni Rizal na mamatngunan o maamguhan sa mga Filipino pagbalik ang authentic culture o identity natong mga Filipino. So the second goal is to correct what has been distorted about the Philippines due to Spanish conquest. So kaning second goal ni Rizal is pagsakto ug pagtul-id sa mga slanderous statement about sa Philippines that could be found in most Spanish works. So makita dito sa mga Spanish works ang ilang mga biased na statement in terms of their discovery and pananakop sa Pilipinas. And aside pod ana is gusto pod ni Rizal nga i-correct ang mga distorted ways gani nga mga nabuhat sa mga Spanish sa ato nasod. And we all know that these distorted ways of Spanish has a big effect on Filipino culture and identity. So the third and the last important goal of Rizal in writing the annotation is to prove that Filipinos are civilized even before the coming of the Spaniards. So Rizal wanted to prove nga ang mga Filipino lagi sa una is civilized na sa wala pa mabuhat ang mga Spaniards. So for Rizal, ang unique civilization sa mga native sa una kay was destroyed by the Spanish colonization. So before the Spanish first occupied the Philippines, ang ato nasod was already rich with local cultural history ranging from trading interactions up to engaging with other Islamic leaders. So mao ning gusto i-prove ni Rizal nga kanang sa wala pa moabot ang mga Spanish is civilized na ang mga. So those are the three goals of Rizal in writing annotation. So that's all. Thank you.
So, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So, I will be going to discuss the similarities and differences between Rizal and Morga's view on Filipino culture. So, as you can see, this is the first Venn diagram that we are created according to their similarities and differences. So, this first Venn diagram more focuses of the government culture in the Philippines, in which Rizal and Morga's view are being presented. So, on Morga, on the Morga's view, he was critical of the government, which he said barely existed because, according to Antonio Morga, there were no powerful figure that ruled over myriad communities. So myriad means countless. So most of them coastal, each with its own set of leader. So on the other hand, on Rizal's view, Rizal thought that it was better that way and that there is no need for the communities to be beholden to one ruler who didn't even live among them and wasn't familiar with their needs and problems. So, on their similarities, Morga and Rizal's view were quite similar in some aspects in Filipino culture, such as in language, tradition, culture, and government. So, kahibaw naman gid ka nga kung natay ka ng universal language, so sa usa ka country nagisad gyud tay ka ng main language nga, which is mao na siya sa Philippines ang ato main language is mao na siya ang Filipino. So also the tradition and culture, so pareha ra gyud ta ninyo. And sa usasad ka country, we are kanang the same rasad ta ninyo government, so naara tay one leader nga, which is mao na nga kanang every year natay kanang himuon nga election for us kanang mga ang kita nga mamamayan kay mo choose ta og best leader nga to make our country nga para nato nga ato country is kanang ma-improve ba, to make our country kanang better. So Morga and Rizal kanang they have the same ideas and views, but its only difference was the terms and the way they describe and observe the things in Filipino culture, since Morga is from another country that just inhabit the Philippines for a long period of time, while Rizal was a pure Filipino and know the Philippines much better than Morga. So that's all.
So thank you, ma'am. Good day, everyone. I am James Justin Gunato Nobi, and as a continuation about what Ms. Urbano have discussed about the similarities and differences of the views of Rizal and Antonio Morga. So in terms of differences, they differed from each other. While ang Kamorga ni so they differed from each other's views, due from which Antonio Morga had his own work basing from personal experiences or documentation from an eyewitnesses of a specific event or history of the Philippines, while Jose Rizal only heard some information from his uncle Jose Alberto about an ancient history of the Philippines, which this work is actually written by Antonio Morga, in which some works of Antonio Morga were being plagiarized, and that's why they differs from each other. So about sa ilang similarities, they are both quiet perspective concerning geography, society, faith, and economy during the pre-colonial era. In terms of body tattoo, Rizal and Morga believe that tattoo is the same as Japanese method. Moreover, they both aim to know Filipino about their glorious past. So, about sa ila similarities, ang bot pasabot sa to sa ila kaparehoan is para sila ay concerned about sa mga historical events sa Pilipinas, most especially sa mga glorious event ng mga panghitabo, mga kalihukan sa mga tao, mga butang na may kalumigitan sa rule o batas sa una sa ila government, apel na lahat ang pagtaas ug pag-ubos sa ekonomiya diri sa Pilipinas. Usa palat nga similarity nila is ang ila interest sa mga culture ug traditions like body tattoo, nga parehas sila in perspectives, colors ug mga reasons sa pagbutang og ink sa lawas nagigamit sa mga ethnic tribes or indigenous peoples kay aray different meanings and symbols, same as sa mga beliefs sa mga Japanese. For example, kay ang black na color sa body tattoo kay nag-symbolize of passing away or death. So sa differences nila, nagkalahi lamang ang views ni Morga ug ni Jose Rizal, since ani si Morga is nagbase siya sa mga personal nga mga experiences ug mga nakita nga documentations gikan sa mga respective people nga nakawitness sa nagkalahi-lahi nga mga event o panghitabo sa kasaysayan sa Pilipinas. Whereas si Jose Rizal is ang isa view sa Filipino culture is aside nga diri isa nagdako sa Pilipinas kay pure Filipino man ganiza. Ang isa uban nga mga views sa Filipino culture is nabatian niya sa mga nga information gikan sa uncle nga si Jose Alberto. Kay ani si Jose Alberto nga isa uncle mas damo niya nahibawaan na information about sa ancient history sa Pilipinas. So kaning part sa book ni Antonio Morga nga gi-annotate ni Jose Rizal kay na-plagiarize but it is republished with annotations ni Jose Rizal. That's the reason why Morga and Jose Rizal differ in terms of their view on their view of culture. So amo ra to ipasa ta mo sa next reporter.
So, good day everyone. Good day sir. Good day classmates. My name is Christopher Mangadlaw. And today I will discuss about the similarities and differences of Rizal and Morga's views on Filipino culture. So let's start with Morga's view. So according kang Morga, Philippines is inhabitable and deserted. So ana si Morga nga ang Philippines daw is murag dili gid mapuy-an. I think Morga say that because he experienced and see the difficulty of living in the Philippines. And also that time ato ang country is wala pay good government to rule and handle the country. So lisod gyud mo puyo sa una mo sigurong nakaingon si Morga nga dili gyud mo puyo ang Philippines. While according kang Rizal, Philippines is habitable and not deserted, but the way of living is not easy. So ako ihon sa Rizal nga ang Philippines is mapuy-an man but the way of living is not easy. Kay especially sa una di ba lisod ang transportation, wala pay tarong equipments para sa farming. So lisod gyud ang magpagpuyo sa una sa Philippines. Mao nakaingon si Rizal nga si Morga nga inhabitable. Pero mapuy-an man gyud ang Philippines but lisod lang gyud siya. Difficult ang way of living sa Philippines. And their similarities is Rizal and Morga were both writers and fighters for the cause of their country. They both defend the culture of Filipinos and spread those good values through written to the other citizen, especially British and Irish citizen. So si Rizal and Morga is parehas sila writers and fighter, but ilang way of fight is through writing, and they defend the culture of Filipino. So ilang gispread ang culture and defend the Filipino through writing gihapon. And that's all for my report. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I am Elena Parota. I will be the one who discuss about on what lead Rizal to Morga's work. So Rizal's intention of publishing the most clear. He wanted to prove by means of a reputable work that the people of the Philippines did possess a high level of culture and morality before the arrival of the Spaniards, did have a mastery of a distinct handicraft art, as perhaps in ship construction, did develop a flourishing trade and did maintain a good contact with the outside world. Knowledge of their own past should strengthen the self-confidence on his countrymen and promote their political and scientific growth. So the intention of Rizal for annotated the published book, which entitled The Sotisos de las Islas Filipinas, written by Dr. Antonio de Morga, is to correct the negative statement that Morgas wrote in his book. Also, to put the true information during and before the arrival of Spaniards. There was already a mastery of Filipino people about distinct handicrafts, including on how to craft ships, the traditional stuff, or even personal needs or wants. So there are more various handicrafts and construction in the past time. So in terms of economy in the Philippines, there had been a good dealings and stable connection from other country like barter system. And most of all, the personalities and knowledge of our ancestor in terms of political system where it is essential in our economy. So that's all. Thank you.
Good day again, everyone. I am Lay and May Albrada, the last reporter. And now the question is, what is the historical importance of the sucesos de las Islas Filipinas among Filipinos in the light of the Filipinos? The discovery of Morga's sucesos de las Islas Filipinas proved to be serendipitous to Rizal. He had been rethinking the idea of the Filipino not as a people who were equal to their Spanish colonizers, but a people with a unique civilization that was destroyed by colonization. This lecture will discuss how Jose Rizal rewrote the Philippine history of his time and what has now been considered as his major work. The Morga annotations provided the seeds of the idea of how the Filipinos should view themselves amidst a growing nationalism that eventually leads to the formation of a nation. Before we ended, may this book be a window to the past for future generations and for them to learn from. Again, Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think that's it. That's a wrap. Thank you so much. Hi guys. Thank you.